Good evening, Vicksburg, and welcome to tonight's regular scheduled Village Council session. It is October 3rd, 2022. We'll do Pledge of Allegiance, if you would mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Wines, do you mind taking a roll call, please?
Trustee Olson.
Here.
Trustee Wagner.
Here.
Trustee Reister.
Here.
Trustee Holmes.
Here.
President Frisbee.
Here. Trustee Keller is excused tonight. Have we heard from?
I have not heard from Trustee Merrill, but she could be on her way.
All right. Well, we have a quorum. We'll get moving on this. We have an agenda in front of us tonight. Jim, was there any corrections to the agenda that we're aware of?
Yes, on scheduled appearances, we'll move Mr. Frederick to October 17th. That's on me. I didn't communicate clearly with Mr. Frederick. But it is good news coming because the projects are completed and both under budget and et cetera. But he'll help me report that out on the 17th. So,
Any other changes or additions?
no, I'll have a few additional comments under the village manager's report for an update on the social district, some website updates that we're going to make, and the DPW building.
Any of the trustees have any additions they want to make, or? Hearing none, we have an agenda in front of us. What's the council's desire?
Trustee Wagner, I move to approve as amended.
Trustee Reister, second.
Motion of approval by trustee Wagner, seconded by trustee Reister. We'll do a voice call. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion carries.
President Frisbee, I think it should be noted, I was just checking messages, and Trustee Merrill did notify us 2 weeks ago that she would not be able to attend this meeting with an excused reason. So that's my error for forgetting, but she did contact staff via email 2 weeks ago.
Mr. Wines, if you'd make that note, please. I see we have a public official in our audience tonight. Mr. Diesler, would you like to speak?
I would. Oh, and I apologize for it being so long since I was here. I don't keep very good records myself, but you look like strangers.
It's been a while.
I have three things from the county to mention. One, we did finally put the county budget together. It totals $262 million. 120 of that is from fees and taxes. The other 142 is from grants and revenue sharing. So less than half the money that is spent by the county is actually coming from the taxpayers and people who pay fees for marriage licenses and that sort of thing. I have I guess it's news about the Downtown Justice Center, and that's what we're calling it now, I think, the Downtown Justice Center. And that was on budget, on schedule, until recently. And it's still on budget because we have a good chunk still left of the contingency funding. And the contingency funding will cover the architect's redo of the interior of the building to accommodate an extra judge that the state has said we qualify for. And that judge will be taking seat in a courtroom in 2025. So we've got a little time to figure out how to do that. And the contingency money will pay for the architect's redo and probably any remodeling that we need to do to accommodate an additional judge. The project, though, slowed down, or it will slow down. We were due to be in there May 1st of next year. And we heard only fairly recently that supply chain issue with the doors to the courtrooms big, I'm sure they're gorgeous. I haven't seen them or even an artist's rendering, but you can imagine what a doorway into a courtroom must look like. And those are, I don't think you call them back ordered. It's just, they're gonna come, but they're gonna come possibly 4 years. I get it right. 4 months, excuse me.
Okay.
Never buy your teeth from Amazon. And so that's, you know, I was looking for something to come amok 3 years ago. I think I told you, I got my fingers crossed that everybody says it's gonna happen. Well, it got this far, and then doors are the problem. And I did suggest with tongue in cheek that instead of the doors right away, when the doors come, obviously we'll put them in, we could hang beads maybe to the courtrooms. And the judges didn't think much of that, so I told them, I said, geez, guys, I'm just kidding, honest. The other piece of information I bring you is that we will have, beginning the 11th, which is a week from tomorrow, a county attorney. We haven't had a single person county attorney in, I think it's been 2 years. And it's a young lady from DeWitt, which I understand is just north of Lansing, named Angelina Barnes. And she's got some pretty good experience in municipal law, even including some county type stuff. So we're really excited that she's going to join us, be officially on board. She's already passed all the tests you have to in terms of, you know, well, I'm sure it's a drug test you have to pass, and there are other things, and she has accepted the offer that was extended to her about 3 weeks ago. She's not going to be moving from DeWitt, though. She likes that. So there'll be some time when she's burning up the roads to get back and forth. But we also have told her that, you know, a lot of what you will be expected to do will be to review contracts. And you can review contracts in your jammies at home if you want. But for the first year or so, we'd kind of like to see you more often than maybe we need to see you in subsequent years, just so we get to know you and you get to know us. But that's good news that we've got an official attorney. We think that's going to save the county somewhere in the vicinity of $100,000 because we've been using as our corporate attorney a 9-person law firm out of Lansing, and they do a lot of municipal stuff, but they also are a 9-person law firm in Lansing, and they've got great people, and we love working with them, but you know, we will be able to hire a good attorney like Angelina. I'm going to have trouble getting that straight. And, you know, we'll not write the checks for possibly around $100,000 to this law firm in Lansing. So it's a good, effective move by the county, and that's the story from the county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, as a representative of this council, I'd like to thank you for the commission investing in the future of this village with the grant, with a favorable vote for our grant for our lead line abatement. So thank you very much for that.
Well, I was chatting with Jim in the entryway. You guys did it exactly right. You did your homework. You put a good story together. You arranged for matching funds, which carries a lot of weight. And then on top of that, Jim came down and said thank you after the fact. So you guys played it right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Thank you, John.
Anyone else online, Jim, or anything that we need to
No, sir.
address? We got time for citizens' comments now for agenda items only. If there's something that's non-agenda related, we'll have a time after this meeting to discuss that. So if there's any citizens' comments, now's the time to stand up and speak. Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of the general consent agenda. We have the minutes from our September 19th, 2022 meeting. We have warrant reports in the total of $109,788. Event request, the Vicksburg High School Fall Homecoming Parade. They want to close Wilson and Prairie and Main Park Street to vehicular traffic between 4:30 p.m. and the conclusion of the parade, and there was no correspondence. So was there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, we have the consent agenda in front of us. What's this council's desire?
Trustee Wagner, I move to approve the general consent agenda as submit.
Trustee Olson, I second.
Motion made by trustee Wagner, seconded and support by trustee Olson. We'll do a roll call vote, please. Mr. Wines?
Trustee Reister.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Holmes.
Yes.
Trustee Olson.
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. So it leads us down to council action items in front of us. We'll let Jim do some detail. I've talked with one of the historic village, the kind of, and Mr. Fredericks and the need for it. So I'll let Jim go in
Yeah.
a little bit deeper. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll bring up on, this is having our construction manager, Mike Frederick, and his team oversee this project. It was unexpected. The roof to the boxcar in the historic village is leaking to the point that it is in all probability it will impact the interior contents. So we had to evaluate it. The request in front of the council is to approve an expense not to exceed $9,300 for the replacement and repair of that roof. There has been contact with the Historical Society, reference the fact that we cannot use materials from that era. They understood and but we've included the pictures and that of the exact areas in the outline of the repair to the council. So though it wasn't on the representatives of the Historical Society the last couple of years on needs, wants, and wishes, it obviously has an immediate need to address before the winter. I have advised the Historical Society with this investment, as well as the investment that we've made in Clark Park's observation deck and Sunset Lake Park's boardwalk, that will wait to expense any more money until after the third quarter. The budget amendments are all made. So we do have money in the Parks and Rec budget and specific to the historic village for this $9,300 investment. It will put a couple more projects on pause. Worst case scenario, those projects would be completed after July 1st, 2023. But again, as we do every year, we'll evaluate the money at the end of March, determine what projects could be done in this fiscal year with the funds available, and report back to the Historical Society as well as the council on staff's recommendation as it relates to that. But be happy to answer any questions.
President Frisbee, if I could.
Yes, sir, please.
Mr. Mallory, I first would like to say that I do have some experience with the caboose, and it's simply because my two younger children and I spend a great deal of time around there. And as a youngster, my son Josh was, let's just say, he watched Thomas the Tank Engine a little bit too much. And I say that because in having gone to the historic village, you always notice that when people do go in to the depot, that the first thing they do is they see that caboose and they go to it. It draws people in. So I support this undertaking. It makes all the sense in the world, because again, that's one of the assets that has a lot of focus with people there. The one thought that I had, I just wanted to throw it out to you. I don't know if it's possible or not, but since it is such a focus point, maybe after the renovations are done, we could look at possibly renting it out as we do the gazebo and then also the pavilion, because again, I would imagine there's a long line of youngsters that would love to have their birthday there. I mean, to be honest with you, if it was available to rent out overnight, I might be the first one to do that as well, but I won't suggest we do that. But I just would like to throw it out there that if it's feasible, it might be an opportunity for us to raise some revenue.
No, that's an excellent idea that we'll broach, make sure the Historical Society is on board for something in that manner. It might be something that they want to undertake, as well as a potential fundraiser for their own organization, but we'll look in that and probably will be able to report back at the next meeting.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, great comments. Rick, thank you. Jim, I had one question that I was reading in it. The wood platform is deteriorating and water leaking in the interior space. The wooden platform will be removed and turned over to the owner.
They're talking about the historic village, I mean, the society.
That was wanted for clarification. They actually own the boxcar.
Thought so, but it was given to them. I don't know if we had to pay anything for it or not. I don't remember.
I'll report back on how that's being handled. So I'm pretty confident the boxcar's owned by the village.
By the village?
By the village, yes. That's why we're investing village money to upkeep. We take ownership. We own all the property, the buildings and everything on the property. And with that comes a responsibility of some of these maintenance issues. But I'll follow up with specifically what
Yeah,
Mr.
it's
Fredericks is talking about.
It's just the verbiage, right?
No, I
Just turn it
understand.
over to the owner, and you just turned it over to the village, but I
Yep.
just wanted to get that clarity.
Yeah, and I'll report that back on the 17th. So,
Thank you. Well, I don't have a lot of experience in roofing. I have put on a couple roofs on homes and know what the cost. And a metal roof is extremely costly. It looks like they're gonna put on a different style of roof, remove this one and, rubber membrane roof.
I believe it's like a rubber material, is
That's what it
how it
was.
was explained to me.
That's what it sounded like when I read it.
It does come with a 5-year contractor's warranty, and predictably will last quite a while.
Any other questions of staff or comments? We have a request in front of us to support engaging a contract with Fredericks and Company, not to exceed, what, $9,300?
President Frisbee, I would ask the council to approve the village manager to enter into discussions with Fredericks Construction Company to repair the caboose in the historic village,
No, the boxcar,
the boxcar. Why do I keep saying caboose?
because you love it so much.
Well, let's go with the boxcar then. That's an ice, anyways, not to exceed $9,300.
Reister, support.
Motion was made by trustee Holmes, support by trustee Reister. We'll do a roll call. Mr. Wines, please.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Reister,
Yes.
trustee Olson,
Yes.
trustee Holmes,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. Motion carries. We have a resolution establishing a refund to the village taxpayers. I'll let Mr.
Yes, this is associated with the millage rate levy and connected to the Headley Amendment of 1970. In simplest of forms, the positive aspect of the growth of the village has triggered under the Headley Amendment of the state of Michigan's Constitution a maximum millage rate of 15.25 0.0322. So in June, we had approved the millage rate at 15.163. There's a difference of 0.1308, or a little over 13.8 cents per $1,000 of assessed property value, which we will distribute those refunds in this month of October is our goal to the taxpayers of the village. So total wide on net revenue, it's going to be about $15,400 of taxes and the 1% administrative fee being returned to the taxpayers of the village. And the resolution is in front of you. The resolution has been reviewed by the village attorney as well as representatives from the county and staff. And feel the resolution speaks for itself, and staff is recommending a motion support and approval, and will initiate and see through the issuing of those refunds.
I have a question. How will they be, how will you get that out to the people?
Well, right now, we worked today with our software company on the taxing software that we have. We know at minimum we'll return checks if people paid in person. It'll all be dispersed by checks.
By checks, okay.
And to the taxpayer's address, except there is a percentage of residents that have their taxes escrowed, so we get those from 2 or possibly 3 large companies that oversee that. And we're working with both legal and how best in those situations do we have to send one check to those companies who they then distribute, or can we send direct to all the taxpayers' houses? And in some cases, this is quite often $20 or less. There'll be some incidences that maybe reach 100 or in there, but so
Okay,
we're
thank
working
you.
on staff on that, or with our consultants on that.
Thank you.
Well, we have a resolution in front of us. What is this council's desire?
President Frisbee, I make a motion that we pass a resolution to refund the taxpayers of the village of Vicksburg the appropriate amount under the resolution and allowed by the state of Michigan Constitution.
Got a motion by trustee Holmes. I have second.
Trustee Wagner, I support.
Motion made by trustee Holmes, support by trustee Wagner. We'll do a roll call, please. Christian?
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Holmes,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes.
Say.
Motion carries. You see the next action item, which I think is a real good one, moving out the dates in January. Do you want to?
Hold on a second. We just want to make sure the resolution number is a part of the record that's going to identify that resolution as we move forward.
Mr. Holmes, please. Sure.
President Frisbee, I make a motion that resolution 1003222-01, which establishes a refund to the Village of Vicksburg taxpayers under the 1978 Headley Amendment to the State of Michigan Constitution.
We get a second?
Trustee Wagner, I support again.
We'll do a roll call again, please.
Trustee Holmes,
Yes.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes.
I can't get it
Motion
right.
carries. I thought about that when you did that.
So did I.
I did too.
A good catch. Thank you, Jim. We have in front of us a council date. We're looking at changing January. And
Yeah, it's a unique January in 2023, so looking ahead, we had our team working last week on, or maybe it was the week before, the financial statement of the village for the fiscal year 21-22, and we always present in the month of January the results of the audit. We'll have auditors in the village for a week. I think it's the week of October 17th. And looking ahead to January, it's a 5-Monday month, with the first Monday being January 2nd, which not only staff-wise but public-wise, with people still being potentially off, we felt that to move the meetings to the 3rd and 5th Monday of January, that we would be able to put that out as early as possible for the public. And those dates would be January 16th and January 30th of 2023. And it doesn't impact any of our other the Planning Commission would still be the 2nd week, and Parks and Rec still be the 4th week.
So Jim, really, we're just moving the meeting on the 2nd to the 30th, because the
Yes, sir.
16 is the same.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I like the idea of coming out of the holidays. There's so much going on that I do believe moving it back like this does make sense.
yeah, it gets the public more engaged, and all of us get our heads straightened after the New Year's parties. And
Some more than others.
so we have a request to change the dates in front of us. Seems like we all agree to it.
Trustee Wagner, I will make the motion that we amend the January meeting dates for 2023 to January 16th and January 30th.
Trustee Olson, I second.
Motion made by trustee Wagner, supported by trustee Olson. We'll do a voice call. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion carries. We're moving on to our village manager report.
Yes, I wanted to report back to the council that we distributed hard copies of the grant application to the majority of DDA businesses, but we emailed a copy to all of our contacts on an updated list. So we should be receiving any applications this Friday the 7th. There's a subcommittee that'll be receiving an email tomorrow about the evaluations, and hopefully we're in a position to make recommendations to the Planning Commission next Monday for their input, and then on October 17th, keeping with our timeline, back to this council on those grant applications. There'll also be, we're out looking ahead to the summer of 2023, so I'll be contacting some individuals to put together a small committee as we're going to look at providing an environment much like our friends in Holland, Michigan. If we can provide, I'll say, entertainment in our downtown every Wednesday night from like 5:30 to 8:30 to generate people coming to the village of Vicksburg, and thus investing in our retail establishments and to put Vicksburg further on the map, if you will. So that endeavor will be beginning, and I'll head up that committee. The social district, which was approved by resolution of the council, we submitted that right after the last meeting to the state of Michigan. Actually, at about 4 o'clock this afternoon, received verbal word that that has been approved by the state of Michigan for us to move forward. We will be contacting businesses within the social district tomorrow, but these improvements to the social district will not start until October 14th, which provides us enough opportunities to update the website update the actual physical location of signs, so we meet those expectations by the state of Michigan, as well as providing the signs to the non-alcoholic businesses that can indicate whether they allow a cup in or not. We have assurances that those will all be completed and be able to be put in place by October 14th. So that Friday the 14th is when the social district will open with the hours 12 noon until last served. Social district cup is 10 p.m. and in the social district closes then at 11 p.m. But the news for the night is we did receive word from the state of Michigan. They approved that late this afternoon. Speaking of the website, not only the social district, but the DDA, Downtown Development Authority section of the website should be completely updated in the next 30 days, along with some other ancillary improvements to the website to keep it current. And then the DPW pole barn building, AEP was on site today, and to install the power into the building. We'll have the electrician back yet this week to finish up there and make sure everything's going, so that's proceeding forward. And be happy to answer any questions.
I'd just like to jump back to the DDA grant, if I may. Have we gotten the number of applicants that you feel is a good number, or is that timing, you believe, the 7th of October, too quick to bring that in?
No, to keep in the timeline, the response.
Is there the second part of that question, is there a window of completion that they have to adhere to?
Well, it's retroactive back to anything that was completed after July 1st of 2021, and then would carry forward for projects that would be completed prior to June 30th of 2023. And I'm anticipating that we'll present a similar program for the 23-24 fiscal year, and we'll be out ahead of it enough. I've already indicated, because some people have asked about projects that they plan on beginning potentially after June 30th, or at least completed after June 30th of 2023, that the DDA section of the 23-24 fiscal year budget will be the first one I present to the Planning Commission and then to the council, so we can at least get the grant information out to all the businesses and start accepting those grants in the month of July. But we knew that was going to happen, as we had to take the time to legally make sure we're on solid grounds to move forward with this program.
Thank you. Any other questions of staff? Thank you, sir. So we have committee reports. Tree Committee.
Nothing new.
Nothing new. Parks and Rec is not here. Cats, you said you haven't seen John in a while. I've seen John more in the last couple of weeks than in the last couple of years, so.
And you probably got the same updates.
It was good, thank you. At least you're consistent. There was a bunch of updates with cats and what they're doing and their expected project improvements. They're doing a right-of-way, it's a nationwide MDOT signal project, safe routes for school project. Their portion of region-wide traffic monitoring and message projects, and it was one of them was previously awarded to Schoolcraft, Village of Schoolcraft. But all was good. There wasn't a lot of new news in that respect. So we'll move to Planning Commission.
We meet next week.
Next week it is. And the sewer, I will update for all on the sewer, as Mr. Keller wasn't able to attend tonight, but the bids are in for the new tanker trucks. There was a total of 4 bids from 3 companies. Did I say sewer?
You said sewer.
Just combine them.
Let's go to, yeah, we'll get to some.
Yeah.
We'll stick with the fire. So they opened up their tanker truck. They had 4 bids ranging from $743,000 to $986,000. So they went over the bids, and then at some point during the discussion, they were made aware of I believe it's Richland, the village of Richland, has a 10-year-old tanker truck that could be available. So Chief was going to dig into that a little bit more. They were going to evidently hire or look to a independent source to vet the unit for them, do an inspection, and make recommendations back to them. So there's been no further movement on that. Chief reported there was 124 calls for the month. One of them in the Centennial was still under investigation. 2 people were hospitalized in that. There's a system called Echo that puts out calls to first responders regardless of their affiliation. And so that we saw a few trucks come in from other areas to that, which was kind of unusual, I would say, but
Pavilion was there.
Pavilion was called in too, but there's just a few bugs in there they're working out with that. And I think it's tied into the weather system too, right? The severe storm warning, because I haven't heard it all summer long, and I heard it this past weekend, so I'm pretty sure that's all tied together. Jumping over to sewer, I didn't bring my notes, going by memory, but I already went by it. I do know that the village of Schoolcraft approved up to $10,000 to do the initial engineering study for a possible sewer treatment plant south of Schoolcraft and I believe in Park Township. The other vested entities was going to be put in front of them through this week, so that hasn't moved, but there is interest by Schoolcraft for sure. So I believe that takes us in a roundabout way to citizens.
President Frisbee,
Yes,
can I
sir.
add on sewer, that the village of Vicksburg had verbally advised the sewer board that as it relates to the aspect of Sprinkle Road, and our plans for a force main going from Spruce Street to the city of Portage, that we anticipated communication with South County in the next 6 months, but well in above and beyond a 1-year mark of when that project would take place, which right now is scheduled out for the fall of '24, spring of '25. But we follow up with them with more formal communication.
That's why we have a professional village manager. I remember the conversation very clearly, right? We made them very aware that we were not buying into that aspect. We have initiated our plans, got a lot of it in the ground already, and continuing on Sprinkle Road. So thank you for reminding me, Jim. Takes us to citizens' comments to non-agenda items. If you have something on your mind and would like to speak it, now is the time.
I've got something, Mr. Frisbee.
Yes, sir.
So,
If your name and address, please.
Your name and address.
Just for,
Zach Bishop, 213 South 3rd Street, Vicksburg, Michigan. I'm actually here on behalf of a company I represent, Four Flutes Machining. Some of you familiar with it, right here on Prairie Street, same building as Dutch Boys Hot Rods. There's been a lot of interesting things happen in the last almost 2 years that we've been here. Most people in this room are fairly familiar with the shop, though I think there's only 1 or 2 that have been inside of it. We are getting ready to receive a very important and impressive piece of technology that I think the village should be aware of, and I think the village should see. So this is somewhat of an invite to schedule a tour at the machine shop, because as of January 1st, we will be a 100% closed campus to the public. So I wanted to come here, thank everybody for their support in my endeavors and the support for the village in general. It's been a great place to be a part of. That's all I got. So-
Can you share a little bit of that
I can.
technology?
Yes. It's not top secret. We will be running some jobs to close the campus. Obviously, that is coming the first of the year. But we're implementing technology now that until you get to the size of companies like the Strikers of the world or the Pfizers of the world or Detroit, Lansing, Grand Rapids areas, small machine shops generally don't utilize full simultaneous 5-axis of motion. And we're also going to double it up with a 24-station pallet pool. So imagine picking up a table and another table being set on to essentially run parts around the clock. But it's going to come in this Wednesday, and I actually just had some free time this evening and figured it would be a good spot to clear my mind and get the message out instead of individually bouncing it around. But I think it would be cool for everybody that is involved at a senior level of the village or any municipality here to see what we're doing, to kind of get a grasp of what's actually going on over there. And like I said, after the first of the year, we are going to be completely closed.
Can I?
Mhm.
I would be very interested in coming to see, and I'm wondering if we could set up a time when we could all go as a group to see. How about it? Yeah.
Absolutely, that's why I wanted to come and say it to the group.
Yeah. So, Jim, you want to set that up?
We'll go ahead and set it up. It'll probably be 2 different tours, so
Okay.
we aren't in any quorum and
Okay.
Yeah.
avoid that. But I'll work with Zach. I thought he was just coming here talking about what a cool village it is, so he decided to move his
It
residence
is.
to 3rd Street
I
because he
moved my
used to be
machine.
outside the village and he was looking for a house for so long. So the tours caught me off guard. But we'll
Yes.
set this up. We
Yes.
might be there at 6 in the morning.
That would be really great. I'd love
It's,
to see it.
There's some cool stuff coming to the village. Obviously, you guys have done a ton for infrastructure, which is, another reason not only moved the machine shop here from Galesburg, but also my residence.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. All right, I do have to scoot back to the machine shop, but
Thank
thanks
you,
a lot.
Zach.
Just
Thank you
one
for
comment,
coming.
Mr. Bishop. If we're going closed campus, does that mean that you're going to be growing large enough to bring more employees, more machines, more business into Vicksburg, and we're going to need to tour the next building?
That is absolutely true,
Okay.
Mr. Wagner.
All right, I'll look forward to it.
You guys enjoy your evening. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
And for all of you that don't know, a 5-axis machine is the state-of-the-art machining center. It'll X, Y, Z, N, and O, I believe. It's in and out, or it'll articulate up inside metal and machine.
Oh, my goodness.
And a 24 pallet machine, I've never seen one in my life. I've been around a lot, multi-pallet machines, but something that big, so. He's got something big going on. He's got a big contract
Set that up.
that's a huge investment. I mean, we're talking many, many millions of dollars, so that is really cool news.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be sending out some times and dates by close of business tomorrow. Zach's pretty on it. He's also a real ambassador for the village. Has gotten involved in the Chamber of Commerce and very, very positive, and we welcome him and his company to the village in the past 2 years. So it's been nice.
Yes, sir.
I'm speaking as a citizen now because you gave me time up front. You want me up front again?
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
Got it.
I'll do it.
The mic picks you up here. Remember, you're on prime time.
Uh-huh. Well,
Plus, John.
then I'll say 2 things. One, would you make sure I know when these tours are gonna be available?
I will do that.
Welcome.
Yes.
If not, let me know that too. And, yeah, you're right, I've run into Tim, I don't know how many times in the last month. I haven't been here, but I've been seeing Tim a lot. And I failed to mention that one of the times I saw you was you accompanied Jim, and you had some nice things to say to the county commission about the approval of your ARPA funding.
Absolutely.
And that was a very classy thing for you to do.
Thank
I
you.
don't want
He's a
that
classy
to
guy.
not be acknowledged. Thank you.
I thank you for that.
President Frisbee,
Sir,
a lot of people don't know that John has meetings at the Crew at Sprinkle and Cork Street, the restaurant, on Monday mornings. The next one's October 10th at 8:30.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do that at second Monday
Yeah.
of every month.
Yeah, Karen and I have been to quite a few of them, and it's good, lively discussion, and you learn a lot, and sometimes John will bring in speakers and either a state or local level, everything from schools to what's happening with the legislature. So it's always worth it to go. Trouble is, I make it about maybe a third of the time, but
We consider you a regular.
yeah, but yeah, that's yeah, right there at the crew, right there next to the roundabout. So, all right, thank you.
If it's Tuesday, I can go.
Wednesday.
Monday is gonna be 2, possibly 3 chaps from Palisades. They're
Monday.
going
That'd
through
be
the shutdown
interesting.
process, and apparently that takes quite a while, and that's
Yeah.
even had a change of ownership. And these guys moved to the new company that now is in the process of shutting it down.
Didn't I understand that our administration, our state administration, the governor extended that closure?
I'm not sure.
I heard that
Roger,
too. I heard it too.
well,
They'd
don't
be,
know.
they'd
I'll be
be,
interested in knowing what the guys that are actually responsible for shutting it down have to say about the governor's comments. Maybe that can be done.
that is a foolish move to shut down these nuclear plants. This is the single most foolish thing we can do in this country. I mean, people want green energy. That's as green as you can get. Yeah.
Don't get me started.
All right, so that takes us to village trustees time. We'll start with Mr. Olson.
Well, Carl's not here, so I can't wish him happy birthday, but other than that, that's about it. Thank you.
Mr. Wagner.
A couple brief things. This weekend I had a great opportunity. Mackenzie's had a spinach feta bread. I just want to highlight them for a minute. If anyone is as disappointed in the Detroit Lions as I myself am, it was the shining jewel of my football Sunday, making that loaf of bread into a spinach and artichoke dip bread bowl. The entire highlight of the day, because the Lions game was certainly a letdown. So kudos to them for making such a great product. I love it. Gilbert and Ivy, also, I had a discussion. If anyone is a musically inclined individual, you probably know that there's no record stores nearby to the village. Kim is actually able to order vinyl records for folks, or CDs and other music, things like that. So someone like myself that's buying some new vinyl as it comes out, because we're getting back into that these days. She is there and willing and able to get that ordered in if it's something she can get from her supplier. So I'd recommend you check them out.
Thank you.
And that's it for me.
Ms. Reister?
Well, I would just like to thank everybody who came out for the Harvest Festival this last Sunday. Luckily for us, the weather stayed nice right here in Vicksburg. I don't know how we did that, but we did, and we had a wonderful turnout. I also like to thank all of the people in Vicksburg who are willing to volunteer, because without them, we could not do it. So I appreciate all of the people who said yes, that they would come, they would work, and I'm looking forward to next year.
Mr. Holmes?
I would just like to thank and acknowledge Fredericks Construction Company, and specifically Mike Fredericks. We've had many projects, large and small, that they've jumped into, and in today's world, if you look out there, it's difficult to get, a company like his to submit a bid, let alone come in and do the work that Mike's doing. Whether it's the small repairs that are being made to our gazebo or our parks, or we talked about today less than a $10,000 repair to an asset in the historic village. This is a large general contractor, and Mike, I know where his heart is at. It's in the heart of Vicksburg, and I just want to commend him again for his time and the commitment that he continues to make to the village.
Thank you. Well, I'll just say thank you all for attending. I don't have a lot to say tonight. We probably the first time in a couple of years we can get out in under an hour. So would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All support?
Yes. Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.